afternoon. And good afternoon to Orbost, Omeo, Painesville and Lakes Entrance, just here on the thing, and good afternoon to Bairnsdale. Thank you for being here. I've brought my trusty clock because I always talk too much, so I'm just going to pop that on and off we go. How do I tell you in 11 minutes what I've done in 53 years? I went to my my eyelash technician to get beautiful and spent 2 hours telling her about my 2-week deployment in Broome. So, you know, we're going to be here forever. No, we're not. I'll cut it down, I promise. So, you know, my name's Kylie. I work for the CFA. I work in volunteer sustainability. What a great thing that I get to do. And everyone says, what do you do? I'm like, swan around, run events, inspire people, I don't know. I run events that help attract, I guess, maintain and retain. Now, that's about getting people to do training. And that's about getting people to keep going out in the community and keep sending the message and all that sort of thing. Because it's not just about fighting fires anymore. It's about educating people to do the right thing in fire season. And we do a lot of that work, a lot of community engagement work. But my role is around making sure that the volunteers are happy. So that's a pretty tough gig. Getting to that, I mean, there was all those other things that I did that you read out. They're kind of in my past now. I struggled my whole life with dyslexia. I didn't learn to read until I was 17. Halfway through year 12, my mum used to read me my books. She'd read me my textbooks, and I'd just go along and hopefully write the right answers on the test papers, right? In 1986, when I did year 12, we were still doing it all manually instead of on computers. So I passed year 12, so I'm pretty happy with that. Got into uni, started primary teaching. You know, that wasn't for me. Stepped back after 8 weeks, and then I had 11 gap years. So, you know, I squeezed a lot of things into those 11 gap years. I come back to uni because my then husband, the two of us bought a transport company, and it's like, well, he was driving the transport, I had to do the business. What do I know about business? Absolutely nothing. So off I trot to uni, to RMIT, to do a transport and logistics degree, and they said, no, you won't be doing that. You'll be going through the TAFE system first. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, righto. Sign me up. And then they said, but you need to get the top marks to get into our degree program. Okay, or I can do that. So I did that. And along the way, I ended up in the bachelor program. Again, I didn't know what a bachelor program was either, or a TAFE or any of that. I just kept doing what people told me to do. Now, I had a really fantastic teacher as well. Her name was Bridget. And Bridget said to me, she taught culture. So I majored in cultural studies, cultural differences, and using culture within business. And Bridget said to me, look, Kylie, you're not going to get a job in transport and logistics because you're a woman. You're going to have to do something that will get you in the door. So go and do training and assessment. I'm like, yeah, rightio, I'll do that. So I did that alongside my degree. And I got my teaching qualifications, and Bridget said, I'm going over to East Timor. And I'm like, you've planned this out, love. She said, I'm going to East Timor to do some aid work. Can you take my class for 8 weeks? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So I jumped in at RMIT and started teaching. 100 people in a classroom, never done that before. That was nothing to when they sent me to China, and then there was 800 people in the classroom, and I'm walking up and down the stage with a microphone like Eddie Murphy, trying to teach them. So that was really interesting. But yeah, so I ended up doing that role, and then she left. And they said, well, can you stay? And I said, yeah, I can stay. So I stayed, and I said, how do I get permanent in this joint? And they said, you need a graduate diploma in education. I said, well, how do I do that? Next minute I'm enrolled in the course, and off I go, do that. Then I'm permanent, and then suddenly there's a program coordinator role. And I thought, have a crack, poke my toe in the water, next minute I got that. So I'm busy running the course that I used to study in, and the teachers who were my teachers when I studied were now my staff. So we did a big flip around. They were all men. So that was really interesting. They followed me like lambs around. So whatever I said they did, and that worked really well. They just wanted someone to follow because it was too hard, you know. So they were really interested in that stuff. I've gone off key here. That's okay. So I did that. I worked at RMIT and I got to work with some really, really fabulous kids, some 17-year-olds that ended up being 20-year-olds going into degree programs. And I changed the program from one person getting into higher ed into 50% of the graduates getting into higher ed by work I did around work integrated learning and having real life projects from real life people outside. The city councils, different Institute of Export put me onto a lot of people, and we did a lot of work. So that was really cool, but I got to a point where I got divorced from my husband because he didn't support what I did. He didn't like that I earned more money than him, and he was just, he became untenable anyway, so I walked away from that and went out on my own, and I was a contractor and I worked in a whole lot of different spaces. I got to the point where I needed my knees replaced, and while I was doing that I studied to be a personal trainer. So before I had my knees replaced, I did 12 months of prehab. I lost a lot of weight, like 25 kilos, and got down so that I wouldn't, it's $62,000 to get 2 knees done. And I'm like, this has to go well. This has to be perfect. So I did everything I could to make sure that the knee operations are fine. But I found this passion for personal training. So when I got out of hospital, I kept training and then started personal training. I worked in a gym for a while and that was all fantastic. Don't make any money as a PT, that's crap money. But I did get really fit. I moved to Bairnsdale. My dad said, oh, there's a job at the CFA and stuff that you do, Kylie. And I'm like, yeah, right, okay. So I applied for the job and I became the learning and, what am I? I don't know. They call me the training chick. So I was in training. I was a training person that everybody went to in District 11. So if you don't know, District 11, where I'm situated, covers the whole of the East Gippsland Shire. So we're very lucky that we've just one spot. But one spot's like so many. Well, there's how many? 5 people on here? Yeah, and all the other spots in between those 5 spots. So yeah, we cover all of that right across to Malakuta. So I get to meet and greet a lot of really cool people. I'm a very lucky person. So I come out into the emergency services sector and had to learn all about that. But I went off to the gym and I had a really cool personal trainer called Beth. And Beth took me through and got me excited about competing in powerlifting. I thought, oh, this is going to be great, fantastic. Anyway, so I got to do like one competition and then COVID hit. Oh my God. So we come back out of that and I thought, I trained by myself at home during COVID, and then after COVID I got another coach and did some more work, and I ended up at the Police and Firefighters Games and I won that. And I got invited to go to the Netherlands to represent Australia. And I looked at the invitation and I went through the fine print, because you've got to do that when it's a big trip, it's a lot of money. Went through the fine print and lo and behold, you've got to be a paid firefighter to do it. So I couldn't, because I'm a what they call a PTA staff. I'm a professional technical and something else, whatever A stands for. So I couldn't go. So that was disappointing. So I went to the national titles last year on the Gold Coast in powerlifting in my age. They're in age and weight categories, and I won. And I squatted with 147 kilos in the squat. I bench pressed 70, and I deadlifted 155, I think it was.
Why?
Yeah, which was disappointing because I lifted 180 in the gym before I went, and it wasn't going to happen on the day, but I got 4 national records and 2 world records out of it. I was pretty pleased with that. So thank you. Just prior to my powerlifting, I'd gone to the Australian Masters Games in Adelaide, and wanted to do a different sport. So I jumped in with the Waratahs in Bairnsdale, and to be in a team, and did some dragon boating with them, and then went back into powerlifting. Anyway, someone rang me about 12 weeks ago, just before Christmas, and said, we're going to start a team in Painesville. And I'm like, oh, that'd be great. I'm in. I said, I'm in. So we started this club in Painesville, and we got it in November. It was all the paperwork was done. We started doing some work around sponsorship and stuff like that, and we've managed to raise $40,000 since December, to get our boats and our trailers and that sort of thing. So we've had some really generous people in Painesville. It's been quite amazing. I want to finish off by telling you a couple of things. We were talking about equity, and I want you to think about the difference between equity and equality. So everyone at work, we've got a new policy around equality, but we're talking about equity today. So equality would be everyone's equal. That's fantastic. Here's a ladder, get up the tree and get the mango. But equity is about providing people the opportunity to get up that ladder or a lift or something else that suits what we are. So equity is about making sure everyone can do that thing. Not just saying everyone can do that thing. We'll allow everyone to do that thing. That's great. But everyone's got to be able to do that thing. Yep. So try and think about equity like that. We've all got to be able to do that thing. So equity in the library is the lift, right? Everyone can get up here, which is fantastic. And we need to be driving that in our workplaces, because I think in a lot of cases we have equality. I know we have equality at the CFA because they tell me every single day, yes, everyone's equal here, but it's around equity. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to leave you with is, if I was talking to young people just coming out of school, my message is network, network, network. And I bet all of you guys have been doing that. You've been networking all your lives to get where you are. Yeah? So we need to keep networking and keep encouraging our young people to network, because networking builds confidence, inclusiveness, communication skills and teamwork, and access to mentors like you, which is fantastic. So if we can pass that message out to our young ladies, that's what would make me super happy. Super happy. Thank you. I've gone over time. I've done 13 minutes. There it is. I've gone completely off script. If anyone's got any questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. It's all right, we'll be here afterwards so we can mingle and talk. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Carly. Our next speaker